Chapter 10 of the book Path to Enlightenment. Guided meditation on the impurities of the body. We are now going to reflect or meditate on the true nature of the body by examining each of the 32 parts in detail, known as Kayanu Passana Bhavana. Now, you may sit comfortably with your back straight. You must remember the 32 parts as described before and visualize them as shown in the video. To practice this meditation stage by stage, you have to imagine your body parts as described. This has to be done mindfully. It is not enough to just listen or memorize the body parts. Now, close your eyes and look with your mind at each of the 32 parts of the body. Clearly, you have to remember the color, the location, shape, smell, everything of every part. Now you have to remember, memorize all the 32 parts of your body. Now direct your mind to the top of your head. Look closely at your hair. You have hair that is black or maybe white, long or short, rooted deep into the scalp. Observe and recognize them well. Now, hold the long or short hair mentally in a fist, like when you are about to tie them together or when you are combing your hair. Then pull them out, take them in your hand and put it on the ground in front of you. Examine the fallen hair carefully. Observe its true nature. Next, take a shaving blade and shave all the body hair in the whole body and pick them up and put them also on the ground in front of you. Look carefully as to what happens to the hair on the ground in front of you. They get scattered by the blowing wind. Ants are walking on them and they are getting mixed up with the dirt and earth on the ground. You are no longer cleaning, washing, combing or shampooing your hair. It is mixed with dirt on the ground. It looks like the hair of a person who hasn't bathed for months. Now take them back in your hand and place them back on your head, thinking that they are yours. Is it attractive, pleasing, and valuable? No, they are useless, discolored, and emitting a foul smell. There is no way that you will take the hair back or even touch it. All of the hair that is on the floor is worthless. This is the absolute truth. If some of the hair get mixed up in the food that you eat, will you eat your food? No, you are disgusted and cannot even bear the thought of it. You now understand that the head hair and the body hair are just a construct of 8 primary properties. This image that you have of the body is an illusion, just like believing that there really is a cycle of fire when you rotate a burning torch. It is not real. It is simply an illusion due to a speed of natural phenomenon. The Suddhastaka will never be stationary or constant. They are arising and decaying constantly. Sooner or later they will go back to earth. These hairs get sick, grow old, decay, and change from the original state every moment. When they decay and turn back to earth and dust, there is nothing left that you can refer to as hair. This hair just you perceive as attractive and beautiful is just an illusion, just like a mirage in the desert or a reflection in a mirror. It is not real. If you can say that this hair is mine and it is a part of me, then you should be able to keep it as you wish. There is no possibility of keeping your hair from decaying as they are constantly degenerating. This is the truth, the absolute truth. Let us examine the teeth in your mouth next. They are in the upper jaw and the lower jaw, white in color, 32 in number. Move your lips apart and pull out all the teeth one by one. Look carefully at the teeth in your hand. There are pieces of flesh, blood, plaque, and food particles with the teeth. Some of the teeth are yellow due to plaque, and some are stained brown due to tea and coffee stains. Drop them onto the ground in front of you. Now take those teeth in hand and put them back in your mouth, imagining that they are yours. Can you do it? No, it is disgusting. You do not even want to pick them up. Look at the nails in your fingers and toes. There are 20 of them. Now pull them out one by one and drop them also onto the ground in front of you. Remember, all these things have to be done mindfully. It is not enough to just listen to what I am saying. You must visualize the actions and do it mentally with understanding and comprehension. Look at the nails and teeth in front of you now. These nails are not cleaned, washed or polished. They have become dirty, just like scales of a fish in a fish market when the fish is cleaned. Flies are buzzing around them. Take these nails back in your hand and put them in your mouth. Would you like to bite them? Thinking that they are yours, can you bite them as you may have sometimes done before? Is it attractive and pleasing? No, you can't bear to even look at them. You loathe them. Now look again at the teeth which are in front of you on the ground. They are discolored and dirty. No one is brushing and cleaning them. Flies are feeding at the attached pieces of flesh. Do you like them and want to care for them as before? They are dirty, smelly and worthless. This is not how you felt when they were in your mouth before. Even at 60 or 70 years of age, you cared for them. You cleaned the food particles and brushed and flossed your teeth, polishing them with toothpaste. You smiled often thinking they are attractive and worthy. When you separate the hair, teeth and nail from the body, it is loathsome, filthy and dirty. This is the truth, the absolute truth. These hair, teeth and nails are also speedily illusions of the 8 primary properties. They continually decay and transform into worthless material. The initial status and attractiveness will never remain. Over time, they transform into earth and reduce to dust. There will be nothing left. This false view of permanence, this illusion must be rejected. You cannot keep thinking that they are me and mine. It will only lead to grief. It is a fallacy that is dangerous, and this fact has to be understood. Let us move our attention to our mind. Skin. Look at it closely with your mind. The skin is there in the chest, in the face, in the head, in the legs and in the arms. It is covering the whole body. Take a blade and cut open the skin from the top of your head down across the body. Now open it like a shirt. You can see the inside of the flesh and skin, red in color. Insert your hand through the skin, which is parted, and remove the skin from the top to the bottom. Remove the skin in the face, neck, body, hands and legs, just like removing a coat or a pair of pants. Take it in your hand, stretch it and look at the inside. It is red in color, stained with blood and pieces of flesh that have come out when the skin was removed. Put the whole thing onto the floor in front of you. Now look at what is on the floor. You are no longer washing or cleaning the skin. It is filthy and black in color as it mixed up with dirt and dust from the ground. It is like a skin of a person who hasn't bathed for months. It is rotting, smelly, and flies have landed on it and are feeding on the juices from the skin. The heap on the ground is filled with maggots. Flies and maggots are walking all over the hair, teeth, nail, and the skin that you cherished and took care of for so many years. Now take the skin in your hands and kiss it, thinking that it is mine. Would you like to wrap it around your body? No. Is it pleasing? No. It is filthy, smelly, discolored and loathsome. There is no value in it now. It has become worthless. This is the absolute truth. This body and its parts will never be permanent or constant. This skin changes and transforms into earth at the end. This skin will also get sick, grow old, decay and die. The initial stage of youth and attractiveness will never remain. In the end, nothing will remain. This too will reduce to earth and dust. Good health is an illusion. Youth is an illusion. In reality, the skin, like the rest of the body, is in the state of flux with no substance. It is a cause of suffering and grief. It is a thing to be discarded. There is never a value in it. It is an illusion due to a speed of change in the 8 primary properties of matter. There is no possibility of keeping it as you want, thinking it is part of me and mine. The skin is without a self or with not self, as there is no doer managing and controlling the nature or aging and decaying of the skin. Now pay your attention to the inside of the chest. Look at the heart and the lungs inside the chest. Pull out the heart and the lungs from inside the chest cavity and put them on the floor with the other parts of the body. Look at them to see what is happening to them. The heart is beating and pumping, and when you go on looking at it, it stops the movement. It is red like a lump. There are tubes around it. Look at the lungs, two of them, two lumps of blood like a beehive in a sack. They are off-white in color. There is a pancreas and a gallbladder inside the stomach. Remove them also and place them on the floor and observe them well. They are also rotting, and pus and putrid smelling liquid is oozing out of them. Flies are buzzing around them and feeding on the oozing liquid. Crows are also pecking at the body parts that you have thrown on the ground and feeding on them. Worms and maggots have arrived and are moving amongst the body parts. Now pick up this mess, imagining that they are mine, and keep them on your chest. Can you do that? No, it is not good, pleasing and useful. No, they are loathsome, smelly and discolored. They are an illusion of the 8 pure properties of matter. These are also changing every moment and distinct over time to be part of the earth. They are of no substance and are not real. They also grow old, decay and rot. The original state will never remain constant. Every moment they change until they too become dust. There is no reminder. There will be nothing left. It is just an illusion which should be discarded. It is a falsehood. You will never be able to keep these body parts as you want them, thinking that they are me and mine. Now pull out the stomach from the abdomen and put it onto the floor. Isn't it like a swollen dead rat? Cut it open with a blade. Pull out the partially digested food and put it on the floor. And see what is happening to the food you ate with so much enjoyment. They were tasty and good, and you ate them with great pleasure. Now they are mixed with saliva, phlegm, enzymes, and bile. They are on the floor just like a lump of vomit mixed with all the dirty and putrid body parts. Look well at the food which is on the ground. They are like the vomit thrown out by a dog. Now take a handful from this lump and put it in your mouth and see whether it is tasty. Is it tasty, pleasing, and valuable? Do you like it now? You can't even put it in your mouth. It is loathsome, dirty, smelling, discolored, and displeasing. There is no possibility of taking it back as me and mine. Every moment it is changing rapidly and transforming into earth. It will never be permanent. When they change, they will never come back to the former state. This too will eventually be absorbed by the earth and become one with the earth. There will be nothing left over. The pile of organs with a putrid smell in front of you too is just an illusion of the ever-changing 8 properties of matter. Just like the circle of fire visible when a burning torch of fire is rotated fast, and invisible if not for the speed of rotation. Clinging to it as me and mine leads to grief. There is no possibility of keeping it in its original state. Decaying starts from the moment from arises. Food too is just an illusion with no substance, like the reflection in the mirror. Let us pull out all the small and large intestines. Place them on the ground next to the rest. Pick the colon, the bag of feces at the end of the intestines, and the appendix. Place all of it on the ground so that it is visible to you. Cut open the colon and spill the feces inside on the ground. Pull out the liver and the kidneys and put them onto the floor along with the rest. Now look at the intestines. Liver, kidneys, and excrement which are on the ground. Look at the real nature of the body and the change taking place. They resemble the remnants or remains of a dog which has been run over by a vehicle. Its stomach has burst open and all the entrails inside have come out. They have rotted and pus is oozing out. Maggots and flies are crawling all over the heap of rotting, smelly body parts. Crows, vultures, and dogs have gathered to feast on the rotting flesh. They are feasting on the rotting flesh and body parts. There are maggots crawling all over the body parts. Pick up some of it and put it in your mouth and swallow. Is it possible? No. Is it valuable and attractive? No. It is loathsome. There is no possibility of getting close to it now. You can't even look at it. Filthy smelling and discolored, these parts continue to change, decompose, and transform into earth. The initial state will never remain the same. It is an illusion and an insult that you were fooled by the reality of the body. It is an insult to your education and intelligence. You feel foolish. This is a new experience in stress. It is the suffering of being fooled by the speedy illusion of the 8 properties of the matter. If it belongs to me and mine, then one should be able to manage and control its changing nature. One should be able to keep it constant as you wish. Instead, the body or form is impermanent. Pull out all the nerves and veins which are all over the body. Twist them around your fingers and pull them out. Put them all onto the ground. They have got entangled in the legs. Take them off and put them also onto the ground. Pull out all the flesh as well. Pull out the flesh in the face, at the back, in the chest, in the stomach, in the hands, in the legs, in the fingers and toes, and put them all on the ground. Mindfully, you have to do this. Now dismantle the skeleton. Pull out the skull, chest bones, leg bones, bone in the arms, bone in the feet and the hands. Break them all and lay them on the ground in front of you. Now observe mindfully, looking at the heap of flesh and bones to observe what is happening to them. The bones and that appear to be white are slowly discoloring. It is yellow and light brown. The bone marrow is rotting and pus is draining out along with maggots who are feasting on this carnage. Dogs pull at the body parts and run about holding it in their mouth, scattering parts of the body all over the place. Look at the heap of flesh, which was red earlier. It has now turned into black and got swollen. It has swelled, enlarging itself to 2 or 3 times its original size. The body parts are rotting continuously. Pus is draining out. Flies are sucking at the rotting flesh. Maggots are creeping out from inside the rotting flesh. Dogs are fighting and eating, dropping body parts as they fight. The veins are hanging from the beak of crowds and pus is pouring out from them. They are all rotting, dirty and filthy. Putrid smelling liquid is flowing out. Now collect all those pieces which have been scattered all around the ground and take them in your hands. Embrace them, thinking that they are mine. Embrace all the rotten flesh, veins and bones, saying that they are mine. Can you do it? No, you cannot. Do you like them? Are they worthy of your love and desire? They are loathsome, smelly, filthy, discolored, and worthless. There is no possibility of even staying closer to them. All the body parts are rotting and turning back to earth. The willingness to cling to them and hold them close to is slowly fading away. You are aware that at the end nothing will remain. Your health, youth, and even your body will not remain constant. Even the earth will not remain constant. They all go back to invisible state. It is merely an illusion of the speed of change associated with the 8 pure primary properties of matter. This is a natural phenomenon. There is no being, person, life, soul, individual, or a person called I or me. It is a natural phenomenon, and there is no possibility of controlling it and keeping it in the condition one wants. It is without a doer or a soul. It is not self. Finally, there is the brain matter, jelly-like inside the skull. Scrap it all out and put into the bucket. One by one, add the liquid parts of the body to this carnage. Put the mucus in your eyes, tears, snot in the nose, phlegm and saliva into the same bucket. Pour in the sweat, fat and oil into the bucket. Pour some urine and add some blood and push into it. Take a stick and mix all the contents of the bucket well. After mixing them well, bring it closer to your nose and smell it. Is it fragrant and pleasing? Do you like it? Can you kiss, lick, or touch this body now? No, never. The body is loathsome, dirty, smelling, discolored, inauspicious, useless, and of no value. There is not even a possibility of taking it close. It is slowly turning into nothing. They are the result of rapid illusions of the 8 properties of matter. It is a natural phenomenon and it cannot be stopped or controlled. All around you there is never-ending change resulting from decay, and this is impermanence. Take the liquids in the bucket and pour them onto the heap of bones, flesh, veins, and feces. You can imagine all that liquid flowing around and getting mixed with the earth and being absorbed into the earth. The rest reduces to earth and dust over time. It is only an illusion that leads to a feeling of foolishness, embarrassment, and disappointment when you realize the truth. There is nothing to cling to as me and mine. There is nothing attractive and desirable. No matter how hard you try to clean, feed, nourish, and preserve the body, it is decaying and moving towards destruction. Every moment in time it is destructing. The speed leads to this illusion. All matter is without substance. All matter is changing and decaying to remainderless emptiness. Form is impermanent, empty, and not self. Eliminate the false view of me and mine, for it leads to grief and suffering. There is never a possibility of avoiding sicknesses, decay, and old age. There is never a possibility of preventing this march to death by clinging and holding tight, saying, "This is mine, this is mine." This body is not self. It is marching towards decay and death without a doer. This is the truth, the absolute truth. Now look at all the body parts on the floor. Observe for some times, looking mindfully at what is happening to the various parts of the body. If an animal like a rat rots in the house, before long the whole household will be suffused with the filthy smell. If a dog dies in your backyard, it rots. If you let it rot without burial, the body swells and bursts open. The bowels spill out of the swollen belly, and pus and putrid smelling secretion drain out of the body. Flies buzz around the body, and with the coming of flies, maggots arrive. The whole garden and compound smells of rotting flesh. Similarly, this heap of human flesh and filth is like a dead animal left to decay. Unattended, it decays and rots, and the putrid smell permeates and the wind. They pollute the whole neighborhoods. It is loathsome to look at the unhygienic of the people living nearby. Now look at the body intently. This is really an absolute truth. Until now, you have been fooled by the illusion or magic trick of an invisible, clever magician. What has remained? Only the mind has remained. It is observing all that is happening from the side and is looking at the carnage with loathing and sadness. This heap of rotting body parts is lifeless. It is impermanent, empty, suffering, and not self. Finally, it understands that the mind is one thing and the body is another thing. The body has been rejected. The body with its filthy secretion and excretion that is continuously destructing without ado has been rejected. For the first time, it has been seen the way it really is. This body is made up of 8 pure primary properties that arise and pass away faster than the speed of light, without a reminder. Similarly, consider the bodies of those you love that you refer to as mine. You must consider your mother. Think about your mother's body, father, brother, sister, and children in the same way. Each and every person's body is the same. The 32 parts are common to all humans. The swiftly ever-changing primary properties is common to all things in the world. At every moment our bodies are decaying, rotting, and emitting filthy, smelly secretion and excretion. They are unpleasant and will reduce to the filthy heap of smelly bodies if not washed and cleaned continuously. The bodies of others are also the same as mine. The entire world is created by the 8 properties of matter that arises and passes away, resulting in decay and changing. Therefore, this body is not valuable or precious, for it's without substance. We have been in darkness of ignorance for a very long time. We have been fooled by the speed of change of the primary properties into believing that the body is solid and real as we perceive. We now knew the absolute truth of the body. We may feel let down and foolish. We may feel sad and stressed. Let us impart goodwill and kindness to ourselves and to all the others, so that we could come out of this delusional darkness to real state of the human body. So you should clearly understand that this is a real delusion. People in entire universe having this delusion. So we better impart goodwill and kindness to ourselves and all the others. Now make a determination to let the concentration declines. Let the concentration declines. Now relaxed and slowly open your eyes. Teaching the truth to others, we inspected the human body in detail and understood our own human body and thereby about the human bodies of all others. We learned that this body is just like a bag of putrid, decaying and inconstant sludge. It should be rejected and abandoned. There is nothing attractive or of value to cling to as me and mine. If you have realized that the body is without substance like the fourth and form in a pond and that it should be abandoned, how and what are you going to do to accomplish this? We know what we have to do, but how are we going to discard, abandon and let go of this body? You have to live imagining the ill of the form of our human body. How can you understand about all this in detail? It is only by listening to the true doctrine and reflecting in the absolute truth. You got to have the direct and advice of the good friend, Kalyana Mitra. How can you eradicate any doubts or disbeliefs about the triple gem? That is Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. For that we have to follow the Noble Eightfold Path of virtue, tranquility and insight meditation. Observe the precepts of virtue. Meditate and reflect on the truth so that insight can arise. If you are to eliminate these false views that you have had in the past, then you have to follow this noble path. He who traverses in the Noble Eightfold Path will experience all of himself. You have to be devotees who are developing the path of the triple gem and observing the 5 precepts. If you have seen the whole world by examining yourself, then you should understand the real state of the body that we refer to as I, me and self. With great effort and many skillful deeds, you have achieved a human life. Have you in the past learned about the constitution of the world? Has any teacher taught you how to identify the constitution of the whole universe? Have they taught you how you should let go or abandon these conventional or worldly false view If they have not, do you think that they can be called skillful or good friends? They have not taught you because they themselves are ignorant of the absolute truth. That is why they have not taught you the correct path. It is now your duty to teach this truth to others. This is what you have to do. Your friends and family are still with ignorance and false view. You have to show them the correct path. The Lord Buddha said that once we saw the truth, then it is our duty to teach our friends and family who are still with false views. If you have learned the truth, you should teach the truth to those that do not know this truth. You will be inhuman and insensitive if you will not do so.